Hey, how's it going? Josh here from Tech with Josh, and this is episode number 21 of Tech with Josh. This episode is titled, Can the M4 iPad Pro replace my M4 Pro MacBook Pro? No. That's the end of the episode. No, seriously. The iPad Pro is a great device for media consumption. It has a tandem OLED display. What does that mean in layman's terms? It has an OLED panel that's greater than most OLEDs. It has an M4 processor. It's a great device, but it cannot compare to an actual laptop to this day. This is the beginning of 2025. And the only reason I have an M4 iPad Pro is because I broke my M1 iPad Pro. What do I mean by I broke it? I plugged in a Thunderbolt dock through a USB-C cable to the iPad charging port. And that charging port was kind of iffy because my AR glasses were working on it. And that was the final straw. Only charged on the Magic Keyboard, which for me is a big deal because I use drives to transfer information from my Mac or my PC over to the iPad to edit podcasts and things. Now I know what you're thinking, Josh, you can do AirDrop. No, AirDrop sucks. I tried to use it multiple times and it just gets stuck there. But let me tell you what I like about this iPad. Even though it doesn't replace my Mac, what do I like about it? The weight. Super lightweight. If I need to quickly jot something down, I have a Magic Keyboard for it and the Magic Pencil. The thing is great for that. The battery life, great, amazing. Never really have to charge it unless I'm using it all day on a VPN. But the main thing I like is how thin it is. Might not sound like a big deal, but when you have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, all the M series MacBook Pros are thick boys and heavy. This is a thin and light device, and it can do a lot, as in reading. You can even edit videos on it, but here's the thing. It can't compare to a Mac because, one thing, external display support. It supports it, but I like multiple displays. What do I mean by that? Well, right now, I have 3 displays. My MacBook Pro's screen, then I have a display right in front of me, 1440p monitor, then a 24-inch 1080p monitor. I multitask. I have a lot of apps open in the background. The iPad, one display. The iPad also is essentially mirroring. You can use Stage Manager, and certain apps let you use it more, like Final Cut, DaVinci, things like that, but it's not to the same level. Sure, you can say, oh no, but that's not what it's meant for. I know that. But as a creative, I want to be in control of how many windows I have open, apps open, which brings up the next thing. You need multitasking, right? Oh, you got side by side. You can have a floating window of this. The screen's too small for that. Don't get me wrong. I have a 12.9-inch iPad, the biggest one they make, and it still feels small to me. Even my 16-inch sometimes feels small because I like to do a lot of things at one time. And the iPad doesn't allow that, really. So right now, on my Mac, while recording this, I'm recording in GarageBand. I have Sticky open. I have Apple Music on one monitor. I have Brave. I have Safari, about 3 different pages of Safari open. I have Notability. I have DaVinci Resolve right now open. I have Apple Notes and also Notion open. Why? It's a long story, but that's the type of things I do. So on the iPad, I can press Command Tab and switch through them, but they're not really open. I can't just view everything in once unless I go a card, then I have to go here and drag over. No. I have everything here. I tap on an empty space, clear the desktop, and click on whatever icon I want to open from my desktop, whatever folder I have. You can't do that here. The Files app on the iPad is an attempt at a files management software. You cannot open every file type, even if you have an app that can open it. Prime example, I was trying to open up a RAW file. I have to download the RAW app from the App Store. Then I'd go files to open in that. Nope. Try share. Nope. You have to edit, the shareable things, whatever it's called. No, so I gotta go to the app, open in there. Then once it's extracted, transfer back to files. That's too much work. Mac, open up Finder, go to it, right click, boom, open with, extract. Or most of the time, it'll automatically extract most of my stuff. That's the whole thing. Also, when you're transferring files, like I said, I'm transferring files between the laptop to the iPad, and I use externals. The problem is there's no progress bar, and you have to guesstimate when it's done. The iPad, I'm kitted out with a Magic Keyboard, the Apple Pencil Pro, and this thing was what, like almost $2,000, including Apple. The Apple Cam did monthly on this, but about $2,000 with taxes. You can literally buy a 14-inch MacBook Pro for that price. And this Apple Magic Keyboard, the build is awesome. The problem is it wobbles. Like, I can lightly tap the top of the iPad and it wobbles back. The old one didn't do this. When I had my M1 iPad Pro, it didn't do this. I put this in the bed. Sometimes I won't work from my bed, sit down on it, put it down next to me. It wobbles and falls backwards. It is top heavy. They redesigned the hinges weird. I don't know why, but it messes with me. And when you're paying $350 for a keyboard cover for it to do that, my Mac is solid as a rock. And the software on the iPad isn't there. Final Cut Pro isn't the same. I mentioned I'm using DaVinci right now. I use Final Cut in the past. I switch between. But it's like when it first came out, it wouldn't let you edit off external drives. Me, I don't see a need for my type of work to have just internal drives. So my iPad's 256. My Mac is a 512, the base model M4 Pro 16-inch. I have a 2 terabyte NVMe that I built here. It's a USB 3.2. Josh, your devices don't have USB 3.2. I know that. I'm using a CalDigit for that. I have another SSD external out here. I have another one here. I have about 4 external drives right here for media. When I need to edit big projects, I just edit off for them. But the iPad limits you on what you can do. Like I said, I like the device. I read manga on there, manhwa. Take a look at Manga with Josh podcast, self-plug. But YouTube videos are amazing. When I'm sitting down, I have YouTube right there on my right all the time. And it's great, and I can use it as a secondary screen for my MacBook. But the thing is, it's not on the same level. And if you're in the market for an iPad, don't get a Pro unless you really want a Pro. You understand? Unless you want the OLED screen, the ProMotion, which is the 120 hertz on there. If you're creative, you want the best Apple Pencil experience, yeah, then it's for you. If you're going to make money with it, then definitely go for it. But if you're an average user, I would say get the Air, get a Mini, or get a MacBook Air. You can pick up an M1 Air for about $700. Brand new. I don't know if Walmart's still having it, but you can find it out there. And iPad OS has been how many years? And it's not to the level of Mac OS. I know Mac OS has been a thing since 1984 with the original Macintosh. But we've come so far, but yet we haven't come far enough. Because the iPad, for my workflow, can't do it. You can do emails on here, you can do basic word processing, but if you're a heavy multitasker, if you want to go on Discord and stream something for your friends, which is something I do a lot, you can't do that here while doing other things. And that's the problem. Do I regret spending that much money on the iPad? Yes and no. I like having the coolest tech. That's why I have this channel, Tech with Josh. So if I want it, I'm going to buy it. But you shouldn't look at a brand new M4 iPad Pro unless you really have the money to burn and money's not an object to you, or you can make money off this, because it's a heavy price to pay to play. And that's it for this episode of Tech with Josh, and I'll see you guys in the next one.